here is Carey Nadeau, and she is the co-CEO of Loop Insurance. She's an MIT trained entrepreneur focused on modernizing the measurement of risk. And her presentation is Fair Insurance for All, Community Powered Car Insurance. Take it away, Carey Ann.
Thank you, Deborah. I really appreciate that kind introduction. So as Deborah mentioned, Loop is a community-driven car insurance company. We launched in the last year to really fill what I believe is a gap in personal auto insurance, which is that the way that insurance has been priced was established about 30 years ago with the data that was available about 30 years ago. And it's about time for a refresh. The reason and the compulsion for a refresh is not only because of the inaccuracies in how we price and how we distribute insurance, but also in that who it is affecting is really disproportionately discriminating folks who don't look like a traditional good risk. So what do I mean by that? Well, in car insurance, most of your price is predetermined by your credit score, where you live, what zip code you're in, and things like whether you have advanced degrees or work a white collar job. Now, the events of George Floyd, as well as sort of the more transparent kind of vibe going on in America right now, recognizing racial inequality and economic inequality, those factors should really raise red flags for folks. The fact that we're predetermining how much your car insurance costs based on whether you can repay your bills, whether you can afford to buy your home, and whether you have advanced degrees from Harvard really are reinforcing structural bias and structural inequality in giving access or granting access to affordable car insurance for people who really need it. We all know, and folks on this panel have already spoken on how the trends of COVID-19 have really changed the dangerous nature of the road. We have seen fewer car crashes, but more severe and fatal crashes. I think folks are hypothesizing currently that as the roads are empty, folks can drive with greater speed. What Loop does is monitor that data in real time and share that information back with drivers so that drivers who are on unsafe roads can drive with greater awareness or avoid those unsafe roads to improve their own risk exposure. And in doing so, earn rewards or earn money back for their car insurance at renewal. The idea here is to get rid of the factors that don't matter and focus on those that do, whether you're a safe driver and driving on safe roads. The previous presenter had a really great observation that folks don't want to be tracked. I would generally agree with that folks have a reticence in general to who they share their data with, but I would probe as to why and whether that's not something that is necessarily a thing we need to avoid. Folks don't want to share information about where they are and where they go because the companies that they've shared it with have not been transparent and accountable of how they've used that data, how they've sold it to third parties, and how they've used it in a way that has actually negatively affected the consumer. So if you look at most traditional auto insurance companies, somewhat like Loop, and using telematics-based information about where you drive and how you get there, those folks have generally cut your price down 15% at the point of sale and then increased your price at renewal. They said, you've lost your discount. It's a loss leader. It's a sales strategy. It's a tactic to get people to come to buy your insurance and keep that insurance sticky because it's a real pain in the ass to change it. We at Loop believe in a totally different model. We believe about pricing people accurately at the point of sale, using information about where we know roads are unsafe, where you're likely to drive, and then giving drivers the opportunity to actually avoid or drive with greater awareness on those unsafe roads, bring risk management really into the hands of the consumer, and empower those drivers to actually obtain better rates at renewal rather than jacking their rates at renewal. I think this is a real change to the way that insurance has been sold. It recognizes that a community has been exploited for data and gives them an opportunity to actually get value from that information and understand how their insurance is being priced, put that power and control back in the hands of consumers. And what that means for Loop is that we are going to have to be a trustworthy company, because we've seen far too many examples of mistrust and distrust emerge when companies have not put transparency and accountability around the data they are collecting back to the consumers, right? So in particular, the communities that we work with, folks that aren't getting the best rates simply because they may be renters, or they may have blue collar jobs, or they may lease their vehicle, right? These are people that have been traditionally exploited. So we are very, very sensitive to the reality that if we are asking for information from our consumers, that the value we give back to them needs to vastly exceed the risk of giving that information to a company. I think as a leader in this company myself, I'm the co-CEO and co-founder. My background, as was mentioned, is in city planning. This is something that city planners think about a lot. The historical legacy of redlining has meant that racial inequality and economic inequality have persisted on the ground. And if we rely on those traditional metrics, we are part of the problem. So thinking about alternative ways that we can use data to empower, to grow, to enrich the experience of people who have not qualified for the best rates, and for whom data can actually be used to improve not only their rates, but their quality of life, be less likely to be actually involved in a crash and have to file a claim. So this is something we take very seriously. The other thing my co-founder and I take very seriously, and my co-founder is John Henry. I would encourage everyone to actually follow on social media at Ride with Loop or John Henry. I think his handle is at John Henry Style. Mine is Nadeau, like Canada, but EAU at the end. We encourage folks to connect with us on social because we are active in the communities that we serve. We're currently on a road trip around Texas where we're launching later this month. We just wrapped up a couple of days in Dallas, a few days in Houston, and we're off to San Antonio tomorrow. So if anybody's down in San Antonio, definitely come out to our events. What we're doing is bringing together groups. We were just in Houston, we had about 100 folks show up to talk about building wealth, building opportunities for folks to get ahead. And insurance is really part of that conversation. It's not just about banks lending or building wealth through investment, through real estate. In financial services, insurance is the backstop against losing it all, and making sure that folks are properly insured is really part of a strategy for building wealth in these communities. So we are going into those communities, actively engaging on social media, actively engaging on the ground, going and speaking to folks. We have a program we call the Mile Deep program, where we either get on the phone or knock on their door and just try to understand a group of people who insurance is not currently built for, but we have the vision, the power, and the privilege, frankly, to build for this group and really realize what a future of insurance can look like. Not accepting how it has always been done and the ways that we've been asking for folks' data and what we do with it, but really using this as an opportunity to get to understand and build a product in the vision and for the purpose of serving a community. And we're really grateful. So far, we have about 30,000 people on our wait list to go live in the state of Texas. If you join our wait list now, there's a referral program to let other folks know, where we're giving away really cool prizes like t-shirts. You can get a Loop t-shirt, but you can also get VIP access to an event we're hosting called LoopCon. And one thing that I think is super important, we are opening up, actually diluting our own equity in the business to encourage folks to actually invest in Loop Series A round, which will launch quite soon. So definitely signing up for the referral program gives folks access to and an announcement. They'll know first when we are opening up that investment round. And why we're strategically doing that is, again, very much in line with our mission. We want folks to build wealth and have equity in a business that is built for the community. And so we are actually opening up a small portion of our Series A round to get the community involved. There'll be no, restrictions about who can invest, other than you'll need to be a Loop customer. So we're really, really excited to launch here in the state of Texas and get folks excited about a new way of thinking about what insurance can mean to us and in doing so tangibly use data to improve road safety and improve really at the ground level up from the driver's perspective, how they can participate in that mission as well. So I really do appreciate the platform and the opportunity to speak with you. I would encourage you all to check out ridewithloop.com, where you can get more information, sign up for our wait list, refer friends, and get access to invest in Loop and get some equity in our company as well. So thank you very much for your time, and I look forward to meeting you all in social or in person here in Texas.
Thank you so much, Carey Ann. I really have to say, this is the first time I've been actually excited to listen to something about car insurance.
Yay!
And I will say
that's great.
I love, love, love that you are bringing to the table fairness and equity for all, because that's so overlooked in all the daily things that we often take for granted, and car insurance is one of those things. So it's so refreshing. I was riveted to your entire talk, the whole time. I couldn't stop listening because this is very new. I haven't heard of this before, and this is game changer. So thank you for this wonderful presentation.
I
really
believe it as well. Thank you, Deborah, for that optimism. As I mentioned, we're going live in the state of Texas. So we'd love to call you a customer at some point if you are in the state of Texas. If not, hopefully folks that are listening will take us up on that offer as well.
Well, everyone in Texas, reach out to Carey Ann Nadeau. So thank you so much.